I'm going to show you how to install this solar cover reel. This is from GLI Pool Products. It's called the Whirlwind. It's the 28-foot, 4-inch version. It's a very skookum product. I really like it. So just a couple things before we start. One thing is, don't install it way behind your pool like this one is. By the way, I didn't do that. Somebody else installed it before me and apparently didn't read the directions, because you're supposed to install it over the end of the pool. What can happen is the weight of the cover can cause the reel to spin freely and the cover will drop to the ground. So it's kind of a downside that one person has to hold this reel while the other person is pulling out the cover. Anything else? Yes. There's probably going to be some wind noise in this video. In fact, here comes a gust of wind right now. So apologies in advance for any wind noise that might be in this video. Lastly, I went to the Oregon coast yesterday and it was incredible. If you haven't seen the ocean lately, go see the ocean. It could be life-changing. Anyway, I know that has nothing to do with solar cover reels, but I just had to throw that in there. All right, let's get to it. Okay, this is a solar cover reel system from GLI. I purchased it on Amazon. The link is in the description if you're interested. And I purchased the 4-inch kit. 4-inch, 28 foot. It's for a space that's about 21 feet wide. And so these are all the parts that came with the kit. It's actually two parts. There's the reel system itself, and then there's the posts. They came separately. Okay, so I got the 4-inch kit. And with the 4-inch kit, you also get the 3-inch kit stuff. You get this and this, and you don't need those, so you'll discard those. And then this here, this bolt here, I tried to loosen it with the included Allen wrench, and it spun in there once, so I almost stripped it out. So I went and got a better Allen wrench, and then I was able to get this screw out. So I would probably avoid using this. It doesn't fit quite right, so kind of dumb. Anyway, you're gonna wanna take this out and save this, because we're gonna use that in the bigger inserts. One other thing to note is that you're not gonna need this bolt anymore either. So I mean, even if you do strip it out, as long as you can get it out, you're fine. When you use this with the new inserts, you're not gonna need that little bolt anymore. So just get rid of that, as well as the two 3-inch inserts. Okay, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is put the 4-inch inserts into the ends of these tubes. You're gonna wanna be sure this hole here, right here, lines up with this hole here. Now, the instructions said that 2 of these smaller tubes would have pre-drilled holes in the ends, but it looks like whoever packaged my kit put 4 small tubes with pre-drilled holes in the ends. So, oh well, I have 4 of them. Anyway, there's the hole. I want to line that with this hole. So we'll do that. Come on, there we go. And then there's the pre-drilled hole on this one. It's going to align with this hole. Perfect. Okay, so I made a couple mistakes. I forgot to install the axle into the adapter first, and I'm going to install it this way. Align the big hole with this hole, leave a little bit sticking out. I think that's right, but it's not really clear because you could turn this around and do it the other way too. But I'm going to do it that way for now, and we'll see if it's right later. And then, let's see if I can get that in. And then you have to put this lock on here. They don't say that in the instructions, but the picture does show it. So put that on first, then insert this into the, I think this is called the base unit. And then we're gonna put that in here as well. And the other one, we're gonna align the holes, and it should look like that. So there are 2 3 3/4 inch through bolts included. And get this through, might take a little bit of finagling here. One of these nice bolts so you don't cut yourself. Okay, perfect. So now, if you install the locking collar on here before you put this in, then you just push it up, you know, decently tight, I guess. It doesn't really say.
Align and tighten locking collar with Allen wrench.
It just says align and tighten, so I think by aligning, they just mean push it up against it. There's nothing to align it to, really. Okay, so now we're gonna repeat the process again. We're gonna put the other base unit on here. We're gonna line it up. Okay, this is a little bit of a pain because you're aligning three things. I guess I really didn't need this on yet, but I will in a moment. It's getting in my way right now. The other lock and collar, make sure you have this little tightener that goes in there. Put that in, and tighten with Allen wrench. Wow, I'm good at this. Okay, there we go. So far, so good. So we put all these together, these posts together, and we put pencil marks on them, and we spaced them all evenly, so we got exactly 21 feet. We got about a 6-inch gap in between them all. It's all spaced perfectly and evenly. So now, I'm gonna install the base onto these posts that I have here, and got something else I'm gonna tell you here real quick. Okay, so some doofuses already installed a reel for me before, but they did a terrible job. That's why I'm redoing it. And so I already got these holes here that have had screws drilled into them a couple times. So I'm sticking a matchstick in each hole because the screws were just stripped out. So this will give the screws a little bit more to bite into. Little tip for you from my friend Tom. So, nice and tight. These are not the screws that came with the kit either. These are a little more skookum, and they're stainless steel. A little bit longer. That ain't going anywhere. Okay, now that I've got those base caps and screwed into the posts, we're gonna pick up this whole reel. We're gonna set it down and see what happens. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, it sags a little bit. But when you twist these the way you're supposed to, it'll take that sag out. So now we're going to drill a hole here, and then there's a hole on the opposite side. We drilled through the smaller tube, and then we're going to put the through bolts through and screw them down. The key thing to remember here is you have to twist these tubes. If you don't twist them, it's gonna look wobbly like it does now. Here, let me show you. See how it's kind of sagging in the middle there? You don't want that. That's why you have to twist these tubes until they're tight and then drill your holes. That's a mistake that people make. In fact, the installers who put this in before me, they failed to do that. That's one of the reasons I'm reinstalling this right now. I don't think that's getting any tighter. So make sure this is twisted and tight, and then drill your first hole. And they provided this nice drill bit, by the way, too. Wow. Gotta be a real man to drill these holes. Apparently I'm not one of those. Ugh. I pushed a little harder that time and it worked better. Okay, there we go. You're almost there. There we go, it's through. One of the mistakes is we shouldn't have mounted it before doing the twisting, because when we do that, it's easy for the downward pressure on the tubes to make it hard to hold that twist in place. So I'm going to do the next few on the ground. Maybe just sticking the bolt in there will help keep it from moving. Let that move. So this thing seems to kind of want to move a little bit as we're drilling. Okay, let's see how we did. Right there, you got it. This is harder than it looks. I'm gonna get a wrench. We're just gonna keep following this process all the way down. Okay, here's how it should look when you're done installing those through bolts. If you've tightened all the tubes properly, it should be nice and straight. And this one doesn't look like it's bowing much at all. It may bow a little bit when all the weight of the cover is on it, but For now, it's looking pretty good. Next step, we're going to install the straps. Don't forget to install your little locking pins here. Always use the right tool for the job. There we go. So do your math properly and figure out how many straps you need to attach. So we got 10 straps to attach to this thing. So for our space, we're going to do a strap every 2 feet. I'm going to mark all those. I'm going to mark all those spots out before I actually drill the holes. Also, we're going to want to use these lines right here to drill on. The only downside is it's kind of weird, this design, because once you twist the tubes, the lines no longer match up. So the straps are going to be a little bit off, but we'll get them close. There. So this plate will go like this, facing the pool. They even provide a nice little hex thing here for your drill, whatever they're called. That wasn't so hard. Now I'm going to do that all the way down. Now, the only thing I don't like about it is that they don't line up straight. So I'm going to have to make the straps on that end a little longer than the straps on this end to make it work perfectly. So it's going to be on here like this.
No.
Yes.
No.
Like this then.
No.
Yes, like that. This goes toward the reel.
No.
Because this can be sitting in the pool like this. Yes.
No.
Yes, I had it the other way the first time you said
So
no.
look, like this. It's going to be like this. So pin, then the plastic.
No.
Yeah.
No. No, because then this would be under the under.
That's right.
This goes on top.
That's what it says.
Okay. Good. Am I recording? So what we're going to do now is we're going to attach these to the cover. The way to do that is to pinch the cover and then put this toward the reel, and this goes under, and this little screw goes over like that, and you pinch it through. It's that easy. So maybe I should try it. We're going to fold at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bubbles here because we cut this nice and even. So we're going to fold it here at 5 bubbles, and then we're going to go in 1, 2, so right about here, right about there, and then poke this through, and maybe a big screwdriver might help. Yeah. Ugh. Poking a hole beforehand might help. I don't know. Let me try this again. Man, I should be strong enough to push this through plastic. Try again here. There we go. I got it. So it's tight. Good. There we go. There's my first one. And that provides a nice strong grip there. So I'll go all the way down the line and do the same thing. So right now I'm loosening all these straps so that they're long enough so that the cover can rest in the water like it's supposed to. The straps that came with this kit were too short for where I put my posts, and then the cover wouldn't rest in the pool, so I had to go get these straps. These are 4.5 feet long. The ones that came with the kit were only 2.5 feet long. You can buy straps like this. I bought mine at a hardware store, Ace Hardware, and super cheap stuff, only 25 cents a foot. Okay, this thing is finally assembled, and I'm gonna see if it works. Normally the process of removing the cover from the pool takes my wife and I about 10 minutes. We fold it up and then don't even take it out of the pool because it's too heavy. We just float it over to the side. So I sure hope this works. Let's give it a shot. Now one thing that is important is you kind of got to keep the ends lined up, because like when you're rolling up wrapping paper, it can roll up unevenly. So it's important to try to keep the end even as you roll. Look at that. Now I've done a couple things. I added a bungee cord here to keep this from spinning freely, so put it on here like this. And that keeps this from spinning, because when the wind was blowing, what would happen is this would just start spinning and it would fall to the ground. So I wish there were gears or something on it, but there aren't. So that's what I did. And then also, sometimes the wind will just blow this cover off. So I put a strap on the corner here, and I just tie around this hook. I tie a little slip knot, and that keeps the cover from blowing off. So this keeps the reel from spinning, and this keeps the cover from blowing off the reel. And I did the same to the other side. And that's all there is to it. It works great. It only takes, 30 seconds to a minute to get this cover off. And really pleased with how it works. Just a couple things that I reminded you at the beginning of the video, which is when you're putting it back on the pool, always have somebody holding the handle, because it can spin freely, and the weight of the cover in between the pool and where this reel was put can cause the cover to just fall down, this to spin freely, and the cover will hit the ground. So a good way to not have that happen is to make sure you put the reel over the end of the pool like you're supposed to, not like the guys did who put these posts in for me. Anyway, this is a great product from GLI. It works really well. If you have a heavy cover, even if you don't have a heavy cover, if you have a big space, like my space is 21 feet, I would get the 28-foot 4-inch one. I mean, I squished that 28-footer all the way down to 21 feet, no problem. So you couldn't go much smaller than 21 feet though. Maybe 20 feet, you'd have to do the math and see. But this is a great product. I really like it. It works smooth. The only thing that would be a little better is if it had some kind of gears to keep it from backing up freely. So I recommend it. Links in the description if you want to buy it, buy it. And also you should watch my video of how I installed this whole pool. I'll put a link to that somewhere as well. And oh yeah, I installed a hot tub too in my backyard. You should watch that one too. Hey, have a great day. Thanks for watching.